Hi, I'm Jürgen Kappus and I show you how you as an admin can upload users in a upload with an Excel table. So first of all you need some information, so type in Google Moodle user upload 3.0 for example, then you get a result like this. Here's Moodle docs and that is what we searched for. We go to this page. Now we see the documentation for 2.9. I got 3.0, so I look into this one. And here's some explanation. It pays to read them once. And what is really important, you find the fields here you can use for upload. So just scroll down really deep. So you see fields that can be included. There are some required fields, and I normally create an Excel file as a template, and I use this Excel file all the time, but it pays to create this thing once. So I have my Excel file here, and here everything that is required was marked red by me, so I always think about take these fields. It's username, first name, last name, email. So then you can also set a password. Normally I do it in that way, so if you don't set a real password but you set the word change me, the system sees that it has to change this password and generates an email to the user with an invitation and a system generated password. There are some optional fields like country, city. I fill them most times. And there are some other fields I grayed out that are standard fields in the profile. You can put them in your Excel table and leave them blank, it doesn't matter. Moodle always looks for the headers of the columns and finds out if there's a database field for this column. What is really useful, you also can do enrollments in the file. So if we go a little bit deeper, we see it here, enrollment fields. I got it. The first course the user should be enrolled in has the headline course 1, and here you type in the short name of the course. So you go to your course, look what is the course short name, copy it and paste it in your Excel file. Next of all, you can also set an enrollment period. So that means this user will be enrolled for 365 days in this course, and then he is unenrolled. If you have more than one course, you just call the second course course 2 and make a column with course 2 and enrollment period 2, and so on up till enrollment period course 99 and enrollment period 99. I don't know how many courses are allowed here. Normally we do not use more than 5 or 10 courses, for example. Optionally, you can also set up the role the user should have in the course, but normally we enroll students with this method, and so you can leave it blank because students is the standard method, so Moodle takes it if there's no field for the role. Here you can see all fields that are allowed, and now we have required fields, some user data basic fields. We have set up enrollment. We have some information here we can leave blank or delete these columns like we would. And what we also can do, if we have user defined profile fields, we can also fill them with this Excel table. it's a little bit tricky. You have always to set up the word profile field before the user-defined field. I show it here. It's a little bit more in the top. It's here. So you set up the word's profile field with underscores, and then you enter the short name of your profile field, of your user-defined profile field. This is here. In this example, I have a profile field. It's called manager's email, and that is needed by the face-to-face activity. So I have a little bit complicated upload because I also use user-defined profile fields. So, but that's all. Username, first name, last name, email is required. Password should be change me, then an automatic enrollment authentication process with email is generated. You can set up country and city. You can set up courses and enrollment periods. You have some optional or additional profile fields. You can leave them blank, and you can set up user-defined profile fields, and so on and so on. Whatever you need could be added here in new columns. Moodle just looks what the header of the column is, so also the ordering of the columns doesn't matter that much. And now what is important, you cannot upload Excel. You have to create a CSV file. So I make a short break and duplicate these entries so that I have 10 students, and will go on after I created them. So now I prepared my Excel table. So I got 5 students. And username and email is normally the same in my systems. I get demo 1 student 1, demo 2 student on, and so on. Everybody has to get an email address, country Düsseldorf. It says a special character that will be interesting soon. They are all enrolled in the same course. Second course is just empty, doesn't matter. These fields are also empty. Everybody got a profiled field filled up with manager's email. They all have the same person, the demo teacher as a manager. And then I save my Excel. And now I have to create a CSV file because Excel is not supported. So I go to Save Under, choose my desktop, choose a useful name, just for the format, it's CSV file. Choose a useful name. For example, the date, so you can identify different user uploads. It's CSV, it's Excel, it's CSV, it has a name, everything fine. Excel says that I lose some really useful functions if I save CSV. I say okay, doesn't matter to me. Then I take this CSV file to the user upload field. I just show you where you can find it. Go to Administration, Users Account, and here you find Upload Users. So I drag my CSV file here and drop it. Choose the CSV delimiter. It is normally a semicolon in Excel. And choose the encoding. The encoding is really important because, for example, in Germany you have special characters like Ü for Düsseldorf. And if you choose the wrong encoding, special characters look really strange, and that is not so useful for the user who wants to identify himself or his current city, for example. So I know that my encoding is Windows 1250. Normally you have UTF-8, that is a worldwide standard. Sometimes you have ISO 88591 if you come from Europe, because this is encoding web pages used in the past, a few years ago. Excel, my Excel here in Germany uses Windows 1250. The easiest way is to read a little bit in the web about your program or your language you use Excel, and then just try it. There will be not that much options that fit to your needs. So I choose Windows 1250 for the encoding, so the Ü should be right after the import, and I can say how many rows should be visible in the preview. That's really helpful, so you can find out problems. One thing I have to mention is this video recording is the third run with my Excel table, so it's not a real problem if it doesn't work actually with the first file. CSV import is sometimes a little bit complicated, and if you have done it 3 or 4 times with the same template file, so that's the reason why I have a template file, then it will run smooth. But in the first times you need to test it, you need to try it, and you will have many tries, so you should keep half an hour or an hour for your first imports to be safe and to do it in a really smooth way. So, but CSV file is on the server, delimiter is set up for Excel standard at semicolon, encoding is set up, and a preview is set up, so I can upload these users. I just take my Excel away and make the screen a little bit bigger so you can see more files. It doesn't look very nice, but it's all the same. We are admins, and as admins we are used to know these designs sometimes. So you see here are my 5 new students. Password is set to change me, and the special character is inserted correctly. You can scroll to the right. Profile field manager's mail, and there's no status because nothing bad happened. Okay. So now we have to look on the fields, how we want to act with them. The upload type, add new, skip existing is one option that is often used. Another option, if you are sure your local file is more actual than the user data on the system, you can also say add new and update existing. So new users get a new user ID and are enrolled, are invited, and existing users are updated. So every field of the user will be updated if you set up the next things in a special in a special way. So new user password, create password is needed. It's a good option because we already said okay, we want to change the password. Existing user details. This is if you say update existing, you can here handle it a little bit more in detail how it should be handled. Override with file, override with file and defaults, or fill in missing from fill in missing from file. That the last option is used often, and the first option is also used often. I know these students are all new, so I have no trouble with this field. Force password change, you can say all or none. I say all because I want to change the password. Allow renames, allow deletes, allow suspending activation of accounts, and so on and so on. From system to system and from learner group to learner group, these fields will be very different. So you just have to find out what fields are good for your learning environment and use them. Select for bulk actions could be used to do additional actions after upload, but you can do it also manually. Then you can set up default values, for example, how emails are shown, autos are shown, so everything you know from profile fields. Other fields. Here's a field that is also a custom user profile field, but I don't have that in my Excel. So Moodle sees, okay, it's not in your Excel, but it's required. So you have to choose a value. My standard value is C1. This is language level of the student. We do much in language education. So Moodle sees this field is required and this field is not in my Excel file, so it asks me how I want to handle it. On the other hand, I got a user's defined field. You see it's here, profile manager's mail is defined, and so Moodle doesn't ask me anymore how I want to handle it because it's filled up. So next step is upload users. Now the users are created, and here you see if there have been problems and what has happened and so on. It's always a little bit tricky here because you can see what's below here. It's design problem, but doesn't matter. We see looks fine. Users created are 5. No one was updated. Everyone had a weak password because we had to change me, and we had no errors. So we continue. And now if we go to the user overview, I've opened it here, it's a browse list of users, and search for demo. We see all of these students are generated. If we look in the profile field of one of these users, we see everything is set up like it was in my Excel. And if I look in the other field, you see even this was set up right. Now I have to check up if the enrollments worked properly, because there's no warning message about enrollment, so I go to my course where I enrolled some students. This is the Moodle Minutes demo course, so this is a course where the students should be now. I go to course administration, I go to users, take a look on the enrolled users. And I see these new users have been enrolled. They never got to the system. They have been enrolled as students, and they are enrolled today with a fixed unenrollment date, 1 year, 365 days, and that's all that we have to do. So because this was a really long Moodle Minutes, I summarize. First of all, you go to Moodle documentation, user upload, and look what fields you want to have. Then you generate your Excel template file with required fields, with optional fields, if you like to, with course enrollment, with some blank fields if you want to store this field, and if you have with customized or optional profile fields that you have set up in your systems. You save this Excel as CSV, and then you drop this Excel under users, upload users. You set up the right delimiters, you set up the right encoding, you upload the users, you check if the files, the data looks like you expect it to be. You set up how users should be handled if they exist in the system, if the password is weak, and so on. You upload them. You browse a list of users and check up if they're uploaded correctly. And if you have enrollment, you go to your course and look in your course if the course enrollments are done right. So that's all. If you like my videos, please feel free to make a little bit like under the video in YouTube, so I will go on and create much more useful videos for you. Thank you for joining.